Life will test you, not with storms on the outside but with battles on the inside. The real war is not against the world, it is against your own emotions. Every reaction you give away is power you lose. And the one who learns to master silence masters life itself. Not every emotion deserves a reaction, because not every emotion carries the weight of truth. Life will constantly present you with situations designed to test your patience, your stability, and your ability to hold yourself together. People will provoke you, circumstances will frustrate you, and your own mind will sometimes trick you into believing that reacting instantly is the only option. But the reality is, reacting to everything only leaves you drained, vulnerable, and without direction. Discipline is what separates those who are controlled by life from those who control life. When you learn to discipline your emotions, you don't just avoid unnecessary conflicts. You build an inner fortress that no external chaos can shake. Think about how many times anger has made someone say words they can't take back, or how many moments of weakness have destroyed years of trust. These are the costs of living without emotional discipline. Reaction may feel satisfying in the moment, but it often leaves behind regret. On the other hand, restraint feels heavy in the moment, but it builds a future of strength, respect, and authority. The person who can sit in silence while emotions rise within them is the person who holds the true advantage. That advantage is not over others, but over themselves. And that is the greatest victory anyone can achieve. Emotions are not bad. They are signals, indicators of what is happening inside you. But they were never meant to be your master. They were meant to serve as tools, not as chains. When you give emotions full control, you surrender your decisions, your peace, and your clarity. Discipline doesn't mean suppressing feelings or pretending you don't have them. It means creating space between feeling and response. In that space lies wisdom, and in wisdom lies power. The stronger your discipline, the greater your ability to choose responses that align with your values and your vision, rather than the fleeting heat of the moment. Imagine two people facing the same insult. One explodes with rage, throwing away their dignity, giving power to the one who provoked them. The other stays calm, unshaken, and refuses to give away energy so cheaply. Who truly holds the power? It is never the one who reacts, it is always the one who controls. Discipline gives you that edge. It allows you to step back, to see the bigger picture, and to respond in ways that protect your peace while advancing your purpose. The truth is, emotions are temporary, but consequences are lasting. A few seconds of discipline can prevent years of regret. A moment of silence can preserve relationships, protect opportunities, and strengthen your character. Every time you choose not to react, you are training your mind, proving to yourself that you are the one in control. Not your anger, not your fear, not your pride. And the more you practice, the stronger you become. Emotional discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more powerful it grows. Understand this. You will never be able to control everything around you. People will lie, disappoint, disrespect, and test you. Life will bring challenges, losses, and frustrations. But discipline ensures that no matter what comes, you remain in command of yourself. That is where true freedom is found. Not in changing the world, but in mastering your response to it. Not every emotion deserves a reaction, because not every battle is worth fighting. Some are meant to be ignored, some are meant to be observed, and some are meant to teach you patience. When you stop reacting to every trigger, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your focus. Instead of being tossed around by every wave, you become the anchor in the storm. That is the kind of strength people respect, and that is the kind of strength that carries you forward. So remind yourself daily your emotions are valid, but they are not commands. You don't have to obey every feeling. Discipline is your shield, silence is your weapon, and control is your crown. And when you live by this, nothing and no one can shake the foundation of your peace. Silence is often the loudest form of strength, because it carries a message words can never fully deliver. When you choose silence, it does not mean you are weak or that you lack a response. It means you understand the power of restraint. It means you know when to speak and when to let your presence do the talking. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, the one who can hold back, observe, and remain still holds the real authority. Silence communicates composure, discipline, and wisdom. It forces others to confront themselves because they can no longer feed off your energy. Many people expect arguments, explanations, or defenses, but when you give them silence, you strip away their control over you. There is a strength in silence because it is not empty. It is filled with patience, with clarity, with reflection. Words can be twisted, but silence cannot be misquoted. It cannot be used against you because it is untouchable. When you are silent, you are showing that your emotions are not in control of you. You are proving that you can withstand the urge to react. Silence allows you to protect your energy and conserve your strength. It is not about avoiding confrontation, but about mastering yourself enough to know when something is worth your voice and when it is not. Think about the times in your life when silence spoke louder than anything else. Maybe it was walking away from an argument you could have easily won but chose peace instead. Maybe it was ignoring an insult that was meant to provoke you but ended up reflecting the immaturity of the one who threw it. Maybe it was standing still in a room full of chaos, refusing to add to the noise and letting your calmness become the anchor. These are not signs of weakness, they are signs of control. They are proof that your worth is not determined by how much you argue or how loudly you defend yourself. Silence also gives you the chance to listen, and listening is where true power lies. When you are silent, you hear not just words but intentions. You begin to notice patterns, emotions, and truths that are hidden when you are busy speaking. Silence sharpens your awareness. It helps you make better decisions because you are not reacting in the heat of the moment, but observing with clarity. Leaders, thinkers, and wise individuals throughout history have used silence not as a shield of fear, but as a weapon of strength. They understood that sometimes the most impactful response is no response at all. People often confuse silence with weakness because they believe power lies in dominance, in outshouting, in proving a point. But true power lies in not needing to prove anything at all. When you are secure within yourself, when you know your value, you do not feel the urge to explain, argue, or convince. Your silence becomes the evidence of your confidence. It shows that you are not controlled by noise but by inner peace. The loudest person in the room may capture attention, but the silent one commands respect. Silence is not about ignoring life but about choosing wisely how you engage with it. It is about deciding that your energy will not be wasted on meaningless battles. It is about showing that you are in control of yourself, and therefore, no one can control you. When you hold your tongue, you hold your power. When you stay calm, you stand unshaken. Silence does not need applause because it speaks directly to the soul, and its echo lasts far longer than words ever could. You can't lead your life if you can't rule your emotions, because emotions are the drivers of decisions, and decisions shape your destiny. Every choice you make, every action you take, carries the weight of the emotions behind it. If anger, fear, envy, or frustration rule over you, then your life will always be in the hands of impulses instead of purpose. Leadership begins within. It is not about controlling others but about mastering yourself, and the greatest battlefield you will ever face is within your own heart and mind. If you do not learn to discipline your emotions, you will find yourself trapped in cycles of regret, constantly reacting instead of responding. Think about how many mistakes are born from moments of uncontrolled emotion. Harsh words spoken in anger can destroy relationships that took years to build. Decisions made in fear can keep you from opportunities that could have changed your life. Jealousy can poison your peace, and impatience can rob you of the rewards that only consistency can bring. When emotions dictate your life, you become a puppet to the very things you should have power over. To lead your life, you must rise above these reactions and become the master of your inner world. Ruling your emotions does not mean suppressing them or pretending they do not exist. It means understanding them, acknowledging them, and choosing wisely how you respond to them. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger tells you that a boundary has been crossed. Fear reminds you of uncertainty ahead. Sadness shows you what matters to you. But none of these feelings are meant to enslave you. They are there to guide you, not to control you. True strength is in pausing, breathing, and choosing a response that aligns with your higher purpose rather than your temporary state of mind. When you learn to govern your emotions, you develop clarity. You are no longer clouded by sudden impulses or destructive urges. You can make decisions that serve your long-term vision instead of short-term gratification. Emotional discipline is what allows you to stay calm when others panic, to stay focused when others get distracted, and to keep moving forward when others give up. This calm control is what sets leaders apart from followers. People follow those who demonstrate stability, not those who are tossed around by every wave of emotion. Every great achievement requires patience, consistency, and resilience, and these qualities are impossible without emotional discipline. Patience is born from controlling frustration. Consistency is born from controlling laziness and excuses. Resilience is born from controlling fear and doubt. Without ruling your emotions, you will always be sabotaged by your own feelings. But when you train yourself to pause before reacting, to think before speaking, and to act with intention instead of impulse, you take full control of your destiny. There is also freedom in ruling your emotions. Imagine being in a situation where someone tries to provoke you with insults, yet you remain unbothered. That is power. Imagine facing fear but still moving forward with courage. That is freedom. Imagine feeling sadness but not letting it break you. That is strength. Life will never stop testing your emotions, but your growth depends on how you handle those tests. Every challenge is not just about the situation itself, but about how well you can rule yourself within it. If you want to truly lead your life, start by leading your inner world. Rule your anger before it ruins you. Rule your fear before it limits you. Rule your envy before it blinds you. Rule your impatience before it steals your opportunities. Leadership begins with emotional mastery, and once you can rule your emotions, no external force can shake your direction. The one who leads themselves with discipline, clarity, and self-control is the one who shapes their life into greatness. Detachment is often misunderstood. People assume that when you detach, you stop caring, that you become cold, emotionless, or distant. But true detachment has nothing to do with shutting off your heart. It is about protecting it. It is about no longer allowing yourself to be pulled in every direction by the opinions, moods, or manipulations of others. Detachment is clarity. It allows you to see things as they really are without being blinded by desperation, fear, or neediness. And most importantly, detachment is self-respect. It is saying my peace, my values, and my direction matter too much to be sacrificed just to please or chase someone else. Think about how often people lose themselves because they are too attached. They cling to relationships that drain them, jobs that suffocate them, habits that weaken them, and situations that bring them nothing but pain. Why? Because they believe holding on proves love, loyalty, or strength. But in reality, the inability to let go is often a sign of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of not being enough. Detachment breaks that fear. It teaches you that letting go is not loss, it is freedom. It is not the end. It is the beginning of finding yourself again. When you detach, you don't stop feeling. You feel deeply, but you don't let those feelings control your decisions. You may love someone, but you won't tolerate disrespect. You may want success, but you won't sacrifice your integrity. You may care about people, but you won't destroy yourself trying to fix what isn't yours to fix. That balance is what makes detachment powerful. It allows you to engage in life fully, but without being enslaved by outcomes you cannot control. Detachment also sharpens your vision. When emotions no longer blur your judgment, you begin to see what is real and what is illusion. The promises that were empty become clear. The actions that never matched the words stand out. The distractions that kept you stuck reveal themselves. And suddenly you are no longer living blind, but aware, intentional, and free. That awareness is the first step to reclaiming your power. But make no mistake, detachment requires courage. It takes strength to walk away from people you love but who are toxic to your spirit. It takes courage to say no when everyone expects you to say yes. It takes maturity to accept that not everything and not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Detachment doesn't harden you, it heals you. It teaches you that saying goodbye is sometimes an act of love, love for yourself and even love for the other person, because clinging only creates more pain. With detachment comes self-respect. You stop begging for attention because you know your worth. You stop chasing validation because you trust yourself. You stop fearing loss because you understand that what is truly aligned with you will never require you to lose yourself to keep it. Detachment reminds you that you are whole, with or without anyone's approval, with or without any specific outcome. When you live detached, you walk lighter. You no longer carry the heavy weight of constant worry, doubt, and fear. You allow people to be who they are, and you allow life to unfold as it will. You don't force, you don't cling, you don't control. Instead, you flow, you trust, you release. That doesn't make you cold. It makes you wise, because wisdom knows that peace is found not in holding tightly but in letting go gracefully. So remember this truth: detachment is not the absence of love, it is the presence of balance. It is not the rejection of people, it is the protection of self. It is not coldness, it is clarity. And the moment you embrace detachment, you step into a life where your heart is free, your mind is clear, and your spirit is unshaken. That is not weakness, that is real strength. Feelings are powerful, but they are not always reliable. They rise and fall like waves in the ocean, shifting with the winds of circumstance, perception, and mood. One day you feel unstoppable, the next you feel unworthy. One moment you're filled with love and trust. The next moment you're weighed down by doubt and fear. If you build your entire life on feelings, you will be building on sand, unstable, fragile, and unpredictable. That is why wisdom teaches us to anchor ourselves in truth, because feelings lie, but truth remains steady. Truth is not swayed by temporary emotions, it stands firm no matter what storm is raging inside you. When you make decisions from feelings alone, you often regret them. But when you move with truth, even when it hurts, you stand on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Think about how many times in your life emotions misled you. Anger made you say things you didn't mean. Excitement made you trust people you shouldn't have trusted. Fear kept you from taking opportunities that could have changed your life. Feelings are like weather, always changing, never constant. If you dress for summer on a winter day, you will suffer. In the same way, if you live only according to what you feel in a moment, you will pay a price for it later. Truth, however, is like the steady ground beneath you. It does not shift when the wind blows, it does not fade when your mood changes. It remains consistent, reliable, and dependable. Feelings tell you that success is too far away, that you are not good enough, that life is unfair. But truth reminds you that effort, discipline, and consistency always bear fruit. Feelings whisper that you should give up because it's hard. Truth reminds you that growth only comes through resistance. Feelings say, they don't love you, so you are worthless. Truth says, your value does not depend on anyone's opinion. Feelings can scream loudly, but truth speaks with calm authority. The challenge is training yourself to hear truth more clearly than your emotions. This requires discipline, patience, and wisdom. The problem with feelings is they live in the present moment but forget the bigger picture. They respond to temporary discomfort and overlook long-term benefit. For example, your feelings may tell you to quit the gym because it's painful. But truth tells you that the pain builds strength. Your feelings may tell you to overspend because you want instant gratification. But truth tells you that discipline leads to freedom. Your feelings may tell you to lash out in anger because someone hurt you. But truth tells you that peace is more powerful than revenge. When you let feelings control your choices, you live like a prisoner. When you align with truth, you live like a free person. Feelings are not the enemy. They are signals like alarms going off inside your body. But just because the alarm rings doesn't mean the house is on fire. You must pause, breathe, and test whether the alarm is valid. Truth is the filter that separates noise from reality. This is why self-awareness is so important. Without awareness, you chase feelings as if they are facts. With awareness, you step back, measure them against truth, and respond with wisdom instead of reaction. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and warriors in history understood this. They did not let fear stop them, even when fear was loud. They did not let anger destroy them, even when anger burned hot. They grounded themselves in principles, in truth, in values that do not change with mood. That is why they remained steady in chaos while others crumbled. And the same power is available to you. When you feel lost in your emotions, remind yourself feelings are temporary. Truth is eternal. Let your actions be guided by truth, not moods. Let your choices be rooted in wisdom, not impulse. The more you practice this, the more peace you will carry. Life becomes clearer, lighter, and more powerful when you stop chasing emotions and start standing in truth. Chaos is everywhere. Life throws confusion, noise, and sudden storms in our path. But the true test is not the chaos itself. It is how we respond to it. Many people live in constant reaction mode, jumping at every word, every insult, every situation. They become puppets to the outside world, controlled by whoever knows how to pull their strings. But the moment you choose to pause, breathe, and respond with intention, you reclaim your power. Control doesn't come from silencing the storm outside, but from calming the storm within. When you stop letting chaos dictate your mood, your choices, and your future, you step into a different level of strength. This is where power begins, when reaction ends. Think about it. A person who reacts to everything loses credibility. They are predictable, easily provoked, and often regret the words they speak or the actions they take. On the other hand, the one who learns the art of response instead of reaction becomes untouchable. They are steady when everyone else is shaking. They are calm when the crowd is panicking. That calmness isn't weakness, it is control. The world may throw fire, but their silence, their discipline, and their calculated response extinguish the flames instead of feeding them. That is true strength. You must understand that chaos is part of life. There will always be people who test your patience, circumstances that try to break your spirit, and moments designed to shake your faith. But if you spend your life reacting to every disturbance, you drain yourself of peace. A reaction is automatic. It takes no wisdom, no discipline, no higher thinking. But a response is powerful because it is intentional. It means you saw the chaos, felt the emotion, but chose not to let it rule you. That choice is what separates the powerful from the powerless. Control is not about never feeling anger, sadness, or frustration. It is about what you do with those feelings. Do you let them push you into decisions that hurt your future? Or do you pause, reflect, and choose the higher ground? Every time you resist reacting to negativity, you are building your inner strength. Every time you stay calm under pressure, you are sharpening your focus. Every time you respond instead of react, you are telling the world, I own myself. Nothing outside of me controls me. The truth is, chaos will never disappear. If you wait for a life without storms, you will wait forever. But you don't need to wait for the storm to stop. You need to become the calm in the middle of it. Leaders, visionaries, and truly strong individuals have mastered this. They don't allow chaos to consume their energy. They direct their focus, choose their battles, and give their attention only where it matters. They don't waste time arguing with noise, because they know that silence and control are more powerful than any reaction. Imagine the difference in your life if you stopped reacting to everything. How many arguments could you avoid? How much peace could you preserve? How much progress could you make if you stopped letting distractions derail your focus? Control is a decision. And the decision begins with realizing that chaos doesn't end when the world changes. It ends when you stop feeding it with reaction. So the next time chaos comes knocking, don't give it your energy. Don't let it rob you of your clarity. Breathe, pause, respond with wisdom. Because your real power doesn't come from controlling the world outside. It comes from controlling the world inside. And when you master that, no storm, no noise, no chaos can ever defeat you. The conclusion of the entire speech is simple yet powerful. Your life is not defined by the chaos around you, but by the control within you. The storms will keep coming, people will test your patience, and circumstances will always challenge your peace. But the difference between those who are broken by life and those who rise above it is not luck. It is discipline in response. When you stop reacting to every noise, every insult, every situation, you reclaim the energy that was once scattered. You step into clarity, focus, and strength. True control begins not when the world changes, but when you change how you face it. Remember, this chaos loses its power the moment you refuse to give it yours. Stand firm, stay calm, and choose your response with wisdom. That is where your freedom lies. That is where your true power begins.